Just a few hours ago, Brazil named a new finance minister in hopes of turning around the country's struggling economy. CCTV's Stephen Gibbs has been following the developments from Rio de Janeiro. Stephen, what can you tell us?
Well, a pretty significant change of the guard, Sean, here in the world's seventh biggest economy, with the replacement of the existing finance minister, who basically believes in fiscal stimulus, with someone who effectively believes in completely the opposite. He believes in cutting public spending. So here's a quick look first at the new man in the ministry.
His detractors used to call him Scissorhands, owing to his reputation for cost-cutting and austerity. Levy's last senior federal government post was as treasurer in the administration of President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Lula led the first leftist administration in Brazil since military rule, but defied the expectations of many by pursuing a fiscally conservative economic program. Levy, who had previously worked for the International Monetary Fund, was one of the architects of the policy. But Brazil is now facing very different economic challenges. Its boom years, fueled by soaring commodity prices, are long gone. For the last 3 years under President Rousseff, the country has experienced increasingly anemic growth and rising inflation. Some say the current finance minister, Guido Mantega, has mismanaged the situation. Mantega, a former Marxist, has been relentlessly criticized by Brazil's opposition for his overly optimistic economic forecasts and stubbornly interventionist strategy. He is standing down in January for what are described as personal reasons. In recent days, every rumor that Levy might be his replacement has been followed by a rise in Brazil's stock market. With this country facing a possible credit downgrade, President Rousseff seems to have been persuaded that now is the time to appoint a minister that has the market's approval.
Well, Sean, there are some people here in Brazil who say there's actually only ever one finance minister in the government in the current administration, and that is the president, Dilma Rousseff, who's famously a micromanager. Now, Mr. Levy was asked this, whether he would actually have enough autonomy to make the changes he says this country requires. He said that the current leadership had maturity and really dismissed suggestions that he wouldn't be his own man.
With a nickname like Scissorhands, the question becomes, what are Joaquim Levy's priorities right now, Stephen?
Well, what he wants to do really, Sean, is balance the budget. Brazil is on the way towards looking like it might record its first primary surplus deficit in 20 years. That means, not including interest payments, it's looking like it's going to spend more than it gets in. He says that can't happen. He says it should be running a 2% surplus. And he also said that the government should be an example to Brazilians. He said that the government should show Brazilians the importance of saving. I mean, these are pure sort of monetarist language that we're getting from the finance minister. So very interesting when you have a finance minister saying that sort of thing and a relatively leftist president. So it should be quite interesting to see how they work together.
There's also the adage, buy on the rumor, sell on the news. And in your story, you mentioned that the markets had been reacting positively to the rumors. Now that it's official, what is the market reaction, if any?
Yep, you're absolutely right. That does seem to be what has happened. The Brazilian currency and the stock market have been going up every time in the last few days and weeks when people say that it does look like that Levy is going to be in charge. Now, in the day that it was announced, both the currency and the stock market went down a bit as people digested the news. But there's no question, despite that apparent blip, that he is the investors' favorite, at least.
Great. We'll be watching that. Stephen, thanks very much for that latest news.